Get yourself together. Okay, you ready?
Let's do it.
Okay.
You got it.
All right, hi guys. Welcome to our second episode of the RLA Students Podcast. Stop laughing at me. This week, we're week 2, and we're going to be talking about forgiveness. We're still on the atypical subject. Not so typical families are used by God. So yeah, let's start this. I want to know how's everybody doing.
Wait. We have some new guests with us. We got Jock and Jill. If you guys don't know.
Jock and Jill.
Larry.
Up the hill.
I'm so glad you guys got my reference.
Jock fell down. Broke his
Hey, why does that?
And Jill came tumbling after.
Because you're Jock.
We also got Larry this time.
Larry.
Let's go.
And also families, they're
Yes.
sisters, by the
Yes,
way. If you guys
yes.
didn't know.
And me and my sister and Ozzy, of course. Ozzy's.
My name is Heidi, but okay.
We actually got here super early, but there were some technical difficulties. We had cafe and pan, so everybody's super hyper on the coffee.
We good.
We got
We're
some
good now.
Starbucks
Hopefully
coffee.
we don't
Ozzy.
crash. We're hungry.
Really
I want chicken nuggets.
Chicken nuggets.
I want some chicken nuggets. All right, I'm gonna start off like this.
hungry.
How hard is it to you forgive your siblings?
Very.
Because everybody has siblings here, right?
no. never
We're
mind.
going
Like,
straight to
I
the
thought you said- I thought you
Straight to the
said- I thought
point.
you said-
Straight to it.
I feel we should let our new siblings
Oh yeah.
Yes.
tackle this question.
I agree.
What you think?
How hard is it to you to forgive your sisters when they do something to you? When they eat your food, or they steal something from you?
Why you got your mask half on?
Heidi,
my
why your
question.
mic so high?
You're on your tippy toes
No,
on the chair.
I'm relaxing.
I checked.
I'm relaxing. This is how I am. Why your mic so low?
Oh,
Why your back
Because
hurt?
I know what my body is like.
Why your back hurt?
I know what I'm working with.
I'm trying to fix my posture.
be
I got
low.
a pillow.
We both got a pillow.
We
All right,
got
let's-
lumpy
okay.
I
backs.
just realized that.
Yeah, we both got pillows.
Okay.
It's a lot
Okay.
better, trust. Yeah, missing out. But we don't have enough pillows.
Well, I don't think we really like fight like that for us to like we need to forgive ourselves.
It's questionable. It's
Confirm.
questionable.
Jillian, can you
Yeah, it's
confirm
true.
this?
That's
We don't
true,
really,
though, we
because
don't really
I don't
fight.
ever like.
Okay.
I feel like we respect each other's boundaries.
But have you done something like, what is
Okay.
something
I
that
wouldn't
you
do something to get her
that you
mad
consider
like,
like unforgivable? What's something that you consider unforgivable that your sister would do? If there's anything.
I don't know. I don't think there is.
She went in your room and she ripped up all your BTS posters.
See, I wouldn't do that because I'm
Yeah.
a fan myself.
Yeah.
Ooh.
I have a question.
True.
When was the last time you had a big fight? That the two of you had a big fight?
Bye, yeah.
I don't know. I think the
Probably
biggest
this
fight that I
morning.
remember was like
She
when we
remembers?
were like 3 and she was mad at me for I
What?
don't know what.
Oh,
And
wow.
she was
Yeah.
chasing me with like the broom or like a mop.
How old? Wait, if you were 3.
No,
Yeah,
when
I was 3
when
and
she
she
was
was
like 3. My bad. When she was like 3.
I was in the womb.
I have a really hard time to believing
She was
No,
a
it's
newborn.
like
that
ask
y'all
my
never
parents.
had like.
No, like
No,
you'll
I
never
believe
catch us
it.
yelling at each other like.
No.
If we are, it's just
not
like
that
joke.
either.
It's like
Or even,
sarcastic,
When
but
was
it's
the
not
last
like
time y'all
real.
were mad at each other? That
a
y'all
bad
were
question.
upset at each other? Yeah.
I have to. I don't,
I don't remember.
because I don't get mad that quick.
She doesn't. I
Like,
think
I
the
really
reason
don't.
why we don't fight is because
My sister
Jillian
can't
is very
relate.
patient, not because of my patience.
And then I
Yeah.
can't
I mean, it's
relate.
because of her
Okay,
patience.
so then Jocelyn, the question is for you.
How
When
often
was
do
the
you
last
get mad?
time you were upset?
Or got on your nerves or something like that.
With
Ticked you off.
Jillian?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think I've really been
Okay,
upset with
okay.
Jillian.
You do have a
Okay.
third sibling. Let's talk about
Jenny,
her.
shout out
Yeah.
to Jenny.
Jenny, shout out to
Shout
Jenny.
out to Jenny.
About to be
Jenny.
exposed.
We love you, Jenny.
We expose people on
Jenny-
this podcast.
Yes.
Jenny does get on my nerves a little
Ooh,
bit.
okay, there it is.
Okay, we got
Getting
something.
there,
We got something.
T has been
There it is.
Oh my god.
Sorry, Jenny. She's probably crying right now. It's because look.
She doesn't even watch our podcast.
Oh, that's true.
Well, she's gonna want to
That's
now,
true.
but text them, hit her up, be like,
Yeah.
Nobody
you might
tell
wanna
her.
do it.
Yeah.
She's
Don't
gonna
be
get on it.
snitches.
We're
All right,
already gonna see it in
Jocelyn.
the comments.
She's like, she knows she does it on purpose. I know she does it on purpose. She
Does
likes
what?
to like pick little things because I'm someone that if you do little things to like bug me on purpose, like that really irritates me. Like it irritates my soul. Like when you do little things that I know bug me, like I can't stand that. And she does it all the time. And she does things that I hate. Like I hate like when like I don't really like physical touch or contact with other people, and she'll always come in and be like, "Give me a hug," and I'm like, "Bro, get away from me!" I'm like,
No, she doesn't even ask though. She
That
just
is
comes for the
so
hug, and we're
fake,
I'm
like,
like,
because
I'm gonna
you come in
hit
on
you.
Sunday mornings hugging
Bro,
everybody.
because you
That's
gotta
fake.
fake it till you make it.
But
She just
everybody-
exposed herself.
we
In a
encourage you,
professional
so-
environment, I'm not gonna say, "I'm sorry, I'm not gonna give you a handshake because I don't know if you washed your hands."
gotta
Like,
do-
I'm
you
not
gotta do
gonna
forearms
do
Now,
that.
how often does she hug you?
She tries to. I literally like
How
push her or
often
block
does she
her
try
out of the
to?
way. Often, like every time she sees me, and like she does little things like, "What are you doing?" Like, what? Like I don't know why she does that.
Like, let me be.
Maybe she wants to connect with her sisters.
yeah, I
Show
feel like
you
it's because our
love by
family we're
hugging
just not
you.
used.
It's because
or
in
like
our
the rest
family,
of the
yeah,
family.
our whole family, we don't do that. Like we don't.
I
do
feel like
that.
that's most Hispanic families. Like we aren't
don't.
affectionate like at
Yeah.
all.
That's
And
true,
she's
that's
just like randomly affectionate, and like
Affectionate,
nobody's
like-
like that. I don't.
Yeah, literally our whole
It's so
family.
That's like our
random.
way of saying I love you.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we're like,
Yeah.
oh, what you doing? Like, what's that?
Yeah.
Yo, that's so interesting because I
She's
think
the more
that's so true.
sensitive type. She's
I
the
feel like
more
I'm more
sensitive one.
affectionate with you guys than with my
Yeah,
family.
right?
Yeah.
Like,
Like,
with my parents.
it's so
and-
easy to come in and like hug the middle schoolers and be like, hey, like, how are you? And then Andy, the last time I hugged them was like at his graduation.
Like I
which was,
could
2
never
years
hug
ago.
Jillian. Like that is the
Dude,
weirdest.
the last
thing.
time I
Yeah.
hugged her was
Yeah.
when a pastor made me hug her. I was like,
Wait, hold up. Wait, how?
Made you
So
hug
let-
her.
let's
Hug
talk
your
about that.
family.
He
Sorry,
like
hug-
grabbed her hand and he like
yeah,
hugged your
because Jocelyn
sister.
was like in the presencia, and then
En la
I was just
presencia.
standing there, and I was like, okay, like like just feeling the vibe, and the pastor, not Molina, another pastor comes up and he like go hug your sister, and I was like. I was like, oh, what? And he was like,
we don't do that
and I
here.
was like, I literally didn't
I
know what to
remember
say.
that
And then he
day.
started to guide me towards her, and I was like, I guess I don't have a
She
choice.
was like, "Don't
I was like,
I would have been leaning back. Like,
He's
I literally
"Wait, no,
didn't
my
know what
turn."
to do. I can't adjust it, like, you know.
Stop.
It was weird. That was the last time
You
I
just
hugged
went-
her, though.
Yeah.
I was like, it's okay,
Yeah,
John.
that was like years ago too.
Yeah, that was a while
I
ago.
feel like the only
weird.
time I hug my brothers
crazy.
is when we're fighting and I'm trying to stop them from like doing something.
Or worship
No,
night.
that's-
Or worship night.
No, worship. I hug you because I
be
don't know.
balling.
It's weird because doing this is weird and doing this is weird and this.
Stop touching
Like,
her.
sorry.
Doesn't like physical
I'm
contact.
so sorry.
so shook.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
Put on her mask.
I can't, bro.
Yo,
Funny.
That's something else.
I can't, bro.
this reminded me of that time that we were on that Zoom call. And we just see Heidi being dragged across
Oh
the room.
yeah. No, because he took
Wait.
my phone. First off, he took
Oh,
my phone.
yeah.
And he was on a Zoom call. And it was like you and you were on the Zoom call. And then he grabs my phone. I was like,
Oh,
okay.
that
So I
was
grabbed
funny.
his phone and I start running across the house and I lay down on the couch. He grabs me by my feet and he starts dragging me. And I'm just on the Zoom call. Like,
It looks so funny.
That was-
I wish I would
It's
have
an
recorded
everyday
from before.
thing.
Like,
It was fun.
it's an everyday thing.
yeah, and then Antoine took it.
No, they
Yeah.
have a
Yeah.
habit of like taking my phone. I'm like, there's like nothing on it.
Oh
but
my God,
you wanna
I-
hide
We don't
it?
even
Go
do it.
ahead.
We just take it and then take it for a couple seconds, put it on a high
That would
place,
trigger you,
shoot that
Jocelyn?
Oh, that would
If
trigger
someone
me.
would take your
That
phone?
would trigger
Would
me.
you forgive me if I would you hide your phone? No, I hate
Oh,
that.
I do
We
that to her
always
all the
do
time.
that here. Like
I
it's
do that
like
to her all the
we're
time.
in
I
a
know.
4-hour meeting and they take your phone. They're like passing phones, and I'm like, whose phone is this? And like, I don't know, just hold it.
I've
And
done
I'm
that
like,
to Jocelyn
what?
multiple times.
My phone is
weird.
like an extension of my body. Like it needs to be with me.
It's kind of weird.
I mean, I just think you shouldn't touch my stuff, point blank, period.
Oh,
Like, not your phone,
No,
not
I
your
need it
business,
with
don't touch it.
period.
For real, Andy, don't touch my stuff.
Oh.
Man.
We'll take it into consideration. What about you, Ozzy? Because last time we were on this podcast, I heard
Oh yeah.
Jasmine
this
style.
is Jasmine
That
style.
was spilling.
Hashtag
a lot
Jasmine
of-
style.
Just
Hashtag
no
Jasmine
filter.
style.
Yeah.
Have you ever gotten like in a big fight?
With Jasmine?
Jasmine, comment.
With Jasmine, not
Confirm.
really. Like I shared last time with Jesse, sometimes we'd be having little arguments or whatever, and we stop talking, but then we just start talking out of nowhere. So with my siblings, like, I don't know, we're siblings, so like,
Yeah.
just with time, I guess, we forget about it. Nothing major that I've like had trouble forgiving them.
Okay, that's
Yeah.
good.
What's something you think is unforgivable, like with your sisters?
Ooh.
Unforgivable. Oh, you'll
with
have
your
a
family
super
in
hard
general.
time like forgiving them.
Ooh, that's a good one. Well, I think Just thinking. Like if I don't know, like if there would, I guess, disrespect. Not me, but like just me serving God or like with God or with having to do things with church.
I can see
I
that.
would get probably offended. And sometimes in family gatherings, it's not my siblings, but other, tias, tios, grandma, grandpa, start talking about church, and I cut it off. Like if I'm there, I say what I have to say, and I'm like, we shouldn't talk about it. Like I make it like,
Wow.
yeah, because
I wish I had that.
I would
You're
go
a better
off.
man than I am.
Yeah,
I would go off.
I'll go off too.
I live for those moments.
He's like, I've been
Let's
studying.
talk about it. Let's talk about it.
Sit
Yeah,
down,
no.
get some mics,
something
some
Larry
cameras.
does, he's like, no, let's talk about it. And I'm like, here we go.
Here we go again. Strap
Yep,
on.
we go.
Strap in.
Oh yeah.
We always
That's
squash
specific
conflicts.
line.
Yep.
Strap in.
I literally got
Let's talk
flashbacks.
about it. And also, I love what is it?
Confrontation.
Confrontation.
We just talked about confrontation too
Yeah.
last time. Yeah, sometimes it's needed, and I think for this topic is forgiveness, right?
Yeah.
Being
Yeah.
able to forgive people, and I think that's major. And we were just
Yeah.
having pan con café, right? And I
gone.
think
We ate it all.
having pan con café with someone that you need to forgive
Yeah.
or they need to forgive you is step one.
Yeah.
Could be the first thing, just to
Cafecito
sit
con pan.
together
That's
and,
true.
and just have coffee or McDonald's, whatever your preference, but just sit with
Chick-fil-A.
them
Yeah.
and start the conversation. I think that's step one. And I just feel like hearing them out will help you kind of step into
Okay.
forgiveness.
So you're saying there's steps to forgiving someone?
Yeah, of
Like it's not
course.
just okay, I forgive you.
Yeah,
yeah,
always.
you have
and
to.
even,
Yeah.
even
It's a
even,
process.
And even after you forgive them, it's after the fact where you
Yeah.
you did something wrong to me. First step is admitting.
Yeah.
That's the first step. Admitting you did something wrong. Then it's sitting down, having a little cafecito, having something, and then it's okay. What are we gonna do about it? I think that's it. And then okay, like I forgive you, in my heart, whatever. But then it's after the fact where it's like if something does something to me, I feel like I can never get that same relationship back.
No, yeah.
That's for me.
Same.
It's like forgive and forget. Like I could forget, but it's never gonna be the same again.
Yeah, I'm not
You
gonna
know?
make the same mistake again.
But if
Yeah.
it's like a petty argument, that's
Right.
like, oh yeah, like you took like my chicken nugget. Obviously, I'm gonna be hurt.
I don't know.
But I'm not gonna like
Put a fly-
our
fly in
relationship
your
is
drink.
gonna be ruined.
yeah.
You know,
Yeah,
but
sure.
there's levels to things like this. I
Yeah.
think,
True.
especially in between family.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that. I like that. She said step one is admitting, and that's the first thing. Admitting that there's an issue, there's a problem, and that you have to address it.
Yeah.
Now, if you have trouble forgiving someone, I think that's when God comes in, and you have to bring it up to God and
That's
ask
Me every
ask
time.
God to help you, right? Because sometimes it's not
Yeah.
easy to forgive.
Yeah.
Especially when they can't admit that they were like wrong. And they were wrong, and if they were
Yeah,
wrong, and you
when they're in the
can't, like,
wrong and you have to forgive.
That can never
Yeah.
be
Bigger
me.
person.
Honestly, I can't remember if I've ever taken like that first step. I'm
She's
always
never told
like,
me I'm sorry. I've never heard that from
Chill.
her.
oh
mom.
yeah, like I don't
I feel
say
like
I'm
I've
sorry
seen you do it though. I feel like I've seen you.
to people because it's like for the sake of something. Like when it comes to like my like church and serving here, like obviously I want to make this place better. So obviously I'm gonna step in and I'm gonna be like, hey, like confrontation, admitting something happened.
No, let's
But
talk
if it's
about it.
something in my personal life, I feel like it's that much harder because I don't feel like it takes like a toll on me. I feel like it takes a toll on the way I see this person, if that makes sense. Where it's like I don't care, like if you don't apologize, I really don't care. Like I can go about my day, I really don't care. But just know that forever the way I look at you is gonna change.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I think that's something to keep in mind.
Hearing Heidi, it reminds me of Santa Cena. As a little kid, I would remember Pastor saying, like, because, I guess Santa Cena, as your little kid, you're like, I don't know if I should take it or not. And then, you have to accept Jesus as your
Yeah.
Savior, and that's the first step, and then getting baptized and whatnot.
Baptized.
But I remember pastors would say, if si no te has puesto a cuentas con alguien, you can't take it.
Yeah.
So,
Oh, yeah,
so-
that part.
So that's
yeah.
like, I think that's that kind of like it stood out to me, and
Yeah, it stood
and
out to
I
me
think
too.
that's why forgiveness is a big thing. Because back then, well, as a kid, like you think Santa Cena's so holy, like not anybody could take it, and so my thing was you have to make sure you forgive everyone, and you don't have that. No, I'm not talking to you right now or anything, or else you can't take Santa Cena. Like
Yeah.
that's I think that's a biggie.
Yeah.
If Patrick would say it as a kid,
Yeah.
and that's why I try not to hold any grudges or anything like that because it's just not healthy for you.
Yeah.
Like, it's not healthy
That's
for you.
I
True.
think a question I have is, do you guys have something or have someone that you think you need to forget? I mean, forgive.
Yes.
Definitely
Yes.
forget.
Yes.
I mean, I was trying to. I was trying to have a deep moment, but dang, I see how it is with y'all.
Forgive.
No, but for real, like how Ozzy said, I think that just brings up the topic of like holding grudges and what that does to a person. So my question to you guys is, have you guys ever held a grudge? And are you
yeah.
guys currently holding a grudge? And how did you resolve it?
Man,
That's a good question.
I guess I'll go. I don't feel like I hold a grudge or I've had an issue forgiving anyone because, and I've mentioned this to you guys before. There's a man who told a story of his daughter was murdered by her husband, and he still forgave him. And not only forgave him, but went out of his way to show him love and mercy, and bring him under his wing, and the guy ended up running, his father-in-law's organization after having murdered.
Man,
That's
You know.
crazy.
So
I think
That's
I've heard of that
that's a
story.
different
Yeah.
level
Pastor or
of like
something.
Yeah.
holiness.
So
Godliness.
when I heard that, it was a game changer for me immediately because I was like, yo, I can't think of anything worse than that.
Yeah.
And so even the question earlier, like, is there anything unforgivable? I don't think so. Not at least not for me. At least there shouldn't be. And then I think about me and what I've done and my wrongs and my sins and
Yeah, definitely.
the fact that Jesus still, shows me grace and love, But as far as like moving on and continuing a relationship, like you mentioned, with somebody after the fact, that I think is a little tougher.
That's hard.
Oh,
Man.
okay. So I'm gonna like bring in the Bible to this. Like, there's the story of Joseph. If you guys don't know, like he was sold by his brothers. Yeah.
Sorry, every time
that
I
was
hear it, that's what I
flashbacks. Oh my
listen to
god.
it.
We didn't need those flashbacks.
Oh my god. Okay. And then he went to jail. He was falsely accused, ended up in jail.
Wait, what happened before
For
that?
real, there
though?
was so
You
much
just
more.
lied.
I'm like going in
Wait,
highlights.
no.
Highlight.
Highlights.
He was sold by
Yes.
his brothers, right? His brothers did
Out
not
of
like
jealousy.
him. They hated him. They
Jealous.
were
Jealous.
super jealous
Yeah.
to him. He was like a
They
daddy.
wished
He was
boy,
daddy's
whatever.
favorite.
Yep.
But thing is, Joseph was chosen by God.
Yeah.
He was getting all these
Chosen.
Big time.
dreams. He was
Chosen one.
like getting all these revelations and stuff.
Yeah, hold on,
And
sorry.
then-
Whoa, that was-
My bad. It's because I felt some type of way about this because I do gotta say I feel like sometimes we don't bring this up often, and I feel like Joseph was in the wrong a little bit, and I'm gonna tell you why.
I mean, he is human.
Tell me
Let me
why.
tell you why.
Tell me why.
Because part of it is how we say things, what we say, and
that's
how we
true.
say
Oh,
things,
true.
right?
True.
So this man,
Straight up said-
God gave him dreams, right? And these were dreams that came to be and came true.
Yeah.
But if your brother comes and tells you, yo, you're going to be worshiping me or you're going to be bowing down to me, like,
I would
you
flex
know?
that, to be honest with you.
I feel like I would
feel
do
like
the
you
same
got to
thing.
expect some
What
level
if
of
Andy would
jealousy.
have flexed
Yeah.
that? What if
Yeah,
Andy would
what
have
if-
flexed
Yeah,
that?
yeah. What if,
Chosen one.
what if
That's not
Antoine
true.
came and said, yo, you don't have to bow down to me?
I just pictured
Am I
a
gonna get some of
scenario.
that like,
How you gonna
treasure?
feel
or-
about that?
First of all, if anything, if there's a successful person in my family, it's me. But just saying that. Okay, but
I'm gonna get a cut the check, just saying.
back to Joseph.
All I want
Back
is
to
a cut.
Gotta say, I
Joseph.
feel like he messed up by like
By telling them.
immediately telling them that.
Yeah,
like,
true.
You know, it's like
True.
I don't know. Your relationship with them isn't good already. Why
Wasn't
you
he
going?
like a step? Like did they have the same mom?
No, they're half brothers.
half- like,
But that's why.
Oh,
That's
that,
why.
that plays into
So
it
So
too.
blood
Joseph was a
thickens.
daddy's
So
boy
much.
and a mommy's boy.
Yep.
Didn't his mom die?
Mom's
Already
boy for life.
intolerable, I think.
Yeah, I don't
That's
And
such
then-
a
Later
sad
on
story.
in the
One
story,
day-
yes.
One day he's like
mom
out in the
died.
campo, you know, with his brothers,
Bringing them
chilling,
sandwiches.
supposedly bringing them some snacks. And then
Some
all of a
snacks.
sudden, they take his tunic, right? They take the little thing his dad made for him, and they throw him. Where was it? There, like a ditch, a well, what,
it's
something
cistern. I think it's the term that they use.
empty. A cistern.
A cistern.
It was like an
Maybe
empty
wrong.
hole,
Oh,
like
wow.
a big empty hole.
Yes. Where they store water.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Where they store
Yeah.
water, and then
Wasn't a well.
and they sell him.
A well stores
and
water.
then they fake his death, and they make a whole crime scene. They
That's
kill a little
crazy.
innocent
That
animal
is
for that.
crazy. Like
No, they've been planning that. That's scary.
Yeah, that was
that's how
bad.
you know.
that's like a different level
Premeditated
of
murder.
It could have.
Well,
No, I heard a lot. It's
Well,
not
and
just.
actually,
Yeah,
they
it was
did,
a lot.
They did
murder.
intend to kill him.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That was
Yeah.
the intention.
Facts.
But then
But
one
then they
of
were
the
like, no, let's
brothers.
sell him.
Yeah, one of the
Makes
brothers.
sense.
Like,
Money
some
out of
money
it.
out of
That's
it.
even more
They
ruthless.
didn't even sell
Wow.
him for much either.
It's because they split it, so then it wasn't that much.
That's
Yeah.
true. There was a lot of them.
So he got sold,
Yeah.
Yeah.
slave.
He became a
Yeah,
slave.
he's a
Slave.
slave in Egypt.
And then he got set up by
He's-
this guy's wife.
He's a
and then
good-looking
he went
guy.
to jail.
Yeah, he was a good-looking guy.
He went to
Yeah, he
jail.
went
She
to
raped
jail.
He was a
him.
good looking
just had
guy, and
haters.
everything, and wherever he was at, he was blessing people
Yep.
around.
Yep.
Yeah, that's true.
I think that kind of, that's us. I think
Yeah.
like wherever
Period.
I think wherever I go,
We're blessings.
Yeah, yeah,
God's favors
Yep.
with us. Like wherever we go,
Yep.
and Joseph had that.
yep.
He did.
And
And they stay
wherever
mad.
he was at.
Facts.
You know, his owners, because he was a
Come on,
slave.
come on.
His owners was like, man,
Yeah.
my house is getting blessed since
Yep.
you came, you know, and so they gave him more power, they gave him
Yeah.
more,
Yep.
and then he got set up,
Climbing the ladder.
Influence.
Yeah.
Yep. Yep.
influence. Ooh.
Ends up in jail.
He got hired to interpret dreams, right? He interpreted
Mm-hmm.
a dream. And then he became, what was it? He was like right hand to the Pharaoh
Yep.
or something
Yep.
like that.
Yep.
And then he sees his brothers again, and his brothers are like, "Is that you?" And he's like, "You bet."
Like I said.
And then
But
he
I'll tell
forgives
you,
them.
bow.
Dang,
He
imagine.
sets them up though, right?
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
he
he
does.
does.
He
Yeah.
pretends.
Yeah. He's
all
like,
right.
bring me the other kid. Bring me him.
Bring me Benji.
And
Oh,
they're like,
yeah,
they're like, we can't. And then he forgives them. So my question is, do you feel like you can forgive somebody for
Ooh.
that? Or how
Ooh.
hard do you think it was for Joseph to do
Or
that?
even then, would you want to get revenge? Because I feel like I would want to get revenge. Like, you did me so wrong. I mean, I
But
did
then
end
again,
up
he
here.
did get his revenge at the end, just not through like malicious
Yeah.
intentions.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Wasn't
like,
it he
Would
said
you?
that like because like it was all part of the plan, like if that didn't happen, like he wouldn't
Yeah.
be what he is. Like,
yeah,
I think that's
true.
really
That's
that's
key.
what you
That
just
is
said.
key.
You said he kind of got revenge, but not through him.
Through God.
It was God.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I think
Bro, you got me.
if we
Yeah.
we can't take revenge in our hands. We have to trust that God is gonna take care of.
Yeah.
Or is it more?
He
I
do
feel
be
like
taking
God
long.
would,
He
wouldn't
do be
like
taking
give
long, though.
revenge.
Yeah, I don't feel like revenge
He's
is
like,
the
he
would
right
doing
term.
that.
Was
He
redeem?
blessed-
I feel like it's the
He's
right
literally
word.
like-
Redeem.
That's a good
Is
one.
that-
That's a better
think,
word.
I think
Just bless?
yes. I feel like he just made it right. He
Yeah.
made the story right. He
Yeah.
made the
Like a happy
the
ending.
outcome right. Yeah, and what you said, Jocelyn, is so true. I think I was thinking about this, and I think forgiveness. This has a lot to do with forgiveness, and it's like, what's your perspective on this? What's your
that's true,
perspective on
yeah.
the issue? Is your perspective, are you seeing it out of your own emotions, out of your own understanding,
Yes.
or are you trying to see the big God picture, like in this story? And I think that's the thing with Joseph. He recognized that there was a God
Yeah.
plan through all of it, right? Shout out to Drake again. There is a
God.
God's plan was in there, right?
Oh my god.
God, yeah.
He saw it because he even says it.
Yeah.
I recognize it now. I see it. This had to happen in order for me to be here and be able to bless
Yeah.
my family through this. So the forgiveness came with not only just forgiving and trying to move on from it, but it was even beyond that. It was, I forgive you and I feel blessed by this. I feel like there was a blessing out of my pain and the struggle that he may have
Yeah.
gone through.
I feel like that when you come to realize that everything is like part of God's plan, like you said, it's a different realization.
Yeah.
But like in the moment, like let's say in the moment where you are betrayed, like when he was sold, I'm pretty sure he wanted revenge.
Yeah.
Oh,
Definitely.
yeah.
But he
sure.
wasn't
He
able
was-
to
he was
gain it.
human,
So like
you know?
imagine all that like resentment in your heart.
Mm.
But then when he finally sees them, that's when like he cries, like he
Yeah.
starts crying because he realizes like all of this happened because of a reason.
Yeah.
Dang, his whole mindset just changed.
Mhm.
Like
Yeah.
that whole process.
That's hard.
I feel
That
like
is
there is. I
intense.
feel like there's a verse that talks about that where he says like, you know, I felt like God had abandoned me. I felt like I didn't see God
Oh,
for a long
Yeah.
time. I
Mhm.
didn't see God moving in my life, but now I see. Now I see what the plan
Yeah.
was.
Yeah.
That's intense.
And you get caught up, right? Because
Yeah.
we're
Yeah.
humans, so
Yeah.
Right.
we
Absolutely.
we see circumstances. Like I know, I probably preach a lot about this and say like, don't see the circumstances, see Him. Like
Yeah.
keep your focus on Him.
Yep.
The circumstances don't change Him. Doesn't
Yeah.
change the Almighty God.
Yeah.
And circumstances when people hurt you, it's hard. It's hard to guard your heart. It's hard not to let it affect you emotionally and your mind. But I'm gonna share this just really quick because I've heard it and then it stuck to me always. We're resentment or you hold a grudge on someone. It's like drinking poison. You think by not talking to him or her, you're hurting them,
Yeah.
but you're really just hurting yourself. It's like drinking poison. If you let it just build up here, and my family. Familia Villatoro, they're really
Mira
they
nomás.
hold grudges. They're really like work, I guess, and it's kind of like
My
a
family too.
Shout out to
I think
Jasmine.
A lot of Latinos, Hispanics
Yeah.
are probably the same. Where you know
Or it's unspoken.
your mom,
It's
your mom or
definitely
dad is like,
unspoken.
you just know you don't talk to your tío. Like you don't know why, you just know it.
Yeah.
And that's we can't do that because I think that it's like a little river of God's blessing, and it's like putting a rock, and you're not gonna let the blessings flow if you don't forgive.
Wow.
Like you're blocking
That's
God's
good.
blessings.
Yeah.
If you hold on to that, you have to
Yeah.
let go. You have to, just give it to God, and
Yeah.
and that could hurt.
Yeah.
That could be
Yeah.
painful a lot of the times, but you have to do it.
Man.
To let,
I feel
I
like
think that's key. Yeah.
I
Go.
feel like we're missing like a big point. I'm not saying we're missing it, but like I want to mention like there's a lot of levels to this. There's a lot of levels to forgiving someone because
It's
I'm
not
just
black or white.
exactly
Yeah.
exactly
Yeah.
because I'm just thinking of everyone that's gone through a trauma. Like that's so different.
Yeah.
That's so different.
Oh, yeah.
And we're not saying like, oh, just forget it and just forgive. No, like there's a process to
Yeah.
this.
Difficult.
And there's always like for me, my thing is always seek like help. Always seek like God's
yeah.
word in
Yeah.
everything, because I'm thinking like the story you mentioned, where he forgave his son-in-law for killing his daughter. That's tough, and I don't think a lot of people are, if not everyone, is not like that.
Oh, yeah.
So how do you go through especially if they hurt you?
Yeah.
Hurting someone when someone hurts someone that you love, it's different. But
Yeah.
when they hurt you,
Yeah.
that's an even deeper process because maybe sometimes you blame yourself for it, and there's steps taken where you have to forgive yourself first, and then trying to forgive the other person. But it's a process, and I think that's something that is not talked about a lot. We always mention like, oh yeah, forgive, like it's the holy thing to do, the godly thing to do. But I just want to say it's not black and white.
Yeah.
Like it's
No.
definitely
Yeah.
not black and
Not
white.
at all.
and a lot of the times when it's that deep, you can't do it without God.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, definitely.
Can't do it
Yeah,
without God.
definitely.
And you have to go and be honest and be transparent to God and be like, God, I can't forgive him. Like if it's like that,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't forgive him. I'm coming to you so you can help me out here. Like
Yeah.
I hear these things, it's like drinking, poison is only gonna hurt myself. So help
Yep.
me, help me get over this, because sometimes we can't do it by ourselves.
Yep.
It's only God's mercy, God's love, and through that, He'll help you get over it. He'll get over
I
that.
feel
hump.
like trauma is like something really, really big because it's like we're human, it happens, and there's things that happen. And I feel like when something bad happens to us, we always go like, why? Like, God, like, why did you let this happen?
Why me?
You know?
Yeah.
But then it's sometimes where it's like, I know I have gone through so many things, and there's times where even at my darkest moments, I forget about God. I forget about God. I forget about everything like that I've been through and how it's made me better, and I just focus on the why.
That
I'm
one
always
thing.
looking for an explanation. But I think that, like Osmi mentioned, like with prayer, like
Yeah.
that is
Yeah.
a lot. And I feel like sometimes God does things, and it's not because we're closer to him, it's because he wants to bring us closer. If that makes sense. Where it's like, if I get hurt, it's like I know that I can go to God. Like God does things for a certain reason, and I think that when something happens, it's always, you got to look on the bright side. I'm
Yeah.
always that type of person. I don't like to dwell on the past and things that have
As
happened.
hard as it may be.
Yeah, as hard as it may be. Like,
Yeah.
you went through something traumatic. I like to think it only made me stronger. It only
Yeah.
made me realize how good my support system is. It made me realize how strong I am. It made me realize how good my God is, because he helped me from there to
good.
here.
Yeah.
It's really good.
And I feel like when we say, and I know what you're trying to say, and I think I'm absolutely in agreement with you. But I think
I didn't
when
really
we
know how to say it.
Yeah.
I
and
phrased it weird. I
think-
didn't know how to say it.
No, you said it all right.
Yeah.
But I think the that phrase in the look, see it in the bright side, sometimes for some people may seem like,
It's like a triggering thing.
yeah,
I
like
know
what do
for
you
me it
mean in the
was.
bright side?
Yeah.
There's no bright
Yeah.
side out of
There's
this,
Yeah.
like,
yeah.
right?
Yeah,
So
definitely.
so
That's true.
that could cause a
And
trigger, and I think saying like, look, I'm in pain right now, and I'm hurting out of this, and this is, you know, I don't know, this is upsetting, this is hurtful, it's so painful. But saying, but I believe in my God, and I believe that
Yeah.
he will turn things into good. There's something good that's gonna come out of this, right?
See
And
a
so
victory.
so I don't know. I feel like just that perspective, like coming in
Yeah.
with that perspective, and sometimes you need people around you. You need your
Yeah.
circle
Yeah.
to remind you of that,
yeah,
you know,
definitely.
because you're not gonna be able to do it. Like I know I recently, I was so overwhelmed with like a certain situation that I'm going through, that I was going through, and I was in class, and something in my class triggered and reminded me of just the problems that I was facing. And I know I felt overwhelmed, like emotionally and mentally. I got super angry in that moment, and all these thoughts started, like, and I wasn't, like, in my mind, mentally and emotionally, I wasn't able to, like, by myself figure out what I was feeling and putting in, and so it was turning into something really bad. And so I had to like, you know, hit up some friends and say, hey, I need to talk. Like,
Yeah.
I need to talk. I need
That's
to get
key.
this out of here,
Yeah.
out of my, you know, my heart, my mind, and being able to do that, you know, one, you're able to, like, hear yourself actually say
Yes.
these things and how you're feeling, and two, you're also getting the perspective of somebody else. You know, when
Yeah.
we're like, I was talking to, shout out to Beast. This is the second time we mentioned
Hey.
Beast.
So Beast, we miss you.
Beast is someone that I directly contacted about this, you know, and he brought up a different perspective of saying, hey, this quarantine might have something to do with it, you
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
like all
Felt
the
that.
emotions that come with that, and the stress and the, you know, the exhaustion. I don't know if that's the word, exhaustion of being in this. So I think having those people to be able to speak into what you're going through and kind of clear up the view of what it looks like that you're going through helps you better forgive, and helps you better move on in a positive way where, you know,
Yeah.
you're able to get to that bright side eventually.
Yeah.
That's so true. I
Definitely.
think, like, having friends is so key. I think for me, what gets to me are testimonies. And I feel like if you hear someone that has gone through what you have and that you see how they have succeeded, it, like, kind of reminds you, like, I could be that person too.
Yeah.
That type of testimony, like, comes in with friends, specifically, like you said, getting that outside perspective, and then having people tell you, like, if this person can do it, even though it might be a completely different situation,
Oh, yeah.
I'm here with you, and we could
Yep.
push this together, no matter how long it takes. As long as you're progressing and moving forward,
Yeah.
I think that is you being on the brighter side.
Yeah.
It's progress. rather than just staying still and not growing.
Connect groups.
Yeah.
Connect groups are key. That you're able to. You're able to share, you know. And if you don't feel comfortable with the other members of connect groups, hit up your leaders. You know, your leaders have time alone, but that's the goal, right? I think, and if you don't have friends, you don't have that someone. Again, going to God, letting it out, talking. You know, when you hear yourself express what you're feeling, it does something there. You know, realization comes up, and
definitely.
And I think that's the first step. That's the first step in forgiving anybody.
Can I say something that maybe is not? It's not a popular thing to say within Christianity. And it's okay to be angry.
Oh, yeah.
It's okay for you to
100%.
be angry towards a situation and towards somebody.
It's valid,
We're human.
Just the question is, what do you do with that anger? You know, what does that anger cause? Does that anger like act on love, or does that anger act out of resentment? You know, and so I think when we take that anger and respond to that anger with love, that's where forgiveness comes and recovery from that emotional, you know, trauma in a way. You know, but I think when we respond to anger with resentment, that's where things get dark for us. And what Ozzy said is super key. You're only hurting yourself. Other people are moving on. They're living their life. They probably don't even, a lot of times, and that's where confrontation is so needed, because a lot of times they're probably not even aware that they hurt you, right? They're probably not even aware that they hurt you. So you having a conversation about it and confronting them about that can bring up a lot of stuff and say, hey, yo, I didn't know this. Like what you said, you know, like you didn't know your friend felt this way. And so having that conversation, you know, I clearly with what you said, kind of, you know.
It was out of left field. I had no idea. And me and him, I love him. I know he loves me. And we have nothing but good intentions, but it got real, you know. Like I was like, man, I didn't know my actions, and my intentions were just to help, help his family, You know, I didn't want to do nothing behind his back, but he took it the wrong way, and then he was hanging out with bad people and doing bad things. So that kind of, and he was at that point. I was like, man, that's crazy. But we kind of. I think we're still mending our relationship. I don't have nothing against it. I think we need time, you know, and space. But I got nothing but love for him, and I don't. It's not that I don't blame him, but because that was a little extreme, you know. He told me, but I don't let it like hurt me, you know. I don't let it stay in my heart. I don't let it affect us. Like we talk, we're cool. Just right now it's quarantine, you know. I haven't seen them in a while, but man, it's talking about it definitely is healthy.
I want to throw out there, like, this is something that I think not a lot of us do, and it's talking to your family about it. I feel like we're talking about being atypical families, and God blesses you like when you talk to your family, because sometimes our parents don't even know what we're going through. And whether it's that we're scared they're going to tell us something about it, or we don't know how they're going to take the news of what happened, or like whatever it might be. But there's strength in being able to tell your family, like, hey, this is what really went down. Like, this is what happened to me. I need you right now. And that's a tough conversation to have. It's a tough conversation, but it's also it bonds you together with it bonds you even stronger with your family. And I think it's sad to say that we're closer to our friends than we are to our family. And we're always with our family. Right now in quarantine, like, we've been about 2 months, I think, with our family. And we still talk more to our friends than we do to our family. That could change, and I'm not saying it's going to change like super fast. No, it's going to be a process.
Because want it or not, our families, I feel like, are the ones that can hurt us the most because they know us so well. Where it's like if Jillian said something to me and I got hurt and I was like, okay, like she's a friend, like I don't really see her all that well. But then if my brother would say it to me, I would kind of be like hurt because he knows me so well.
And
he
the
knows
love and
where
the
to
bond
hit
there.
me. Yeah, and it's like, how could someone I love so much hurt me like this? And I think that since bringing up the topic of, being Christians, and we mentioned this last week, how we always tend to keep stuff to ourselves for the sake of, keeping the environment, merry and everything. But I think that that's only hurting us.
Yeah. Because it's superficial. It's not. It's not real. It's not authentic.
That's, I think, a whole different conversation we could touch on. Acting you forgave them, but you just doing
you
it
still
so people
hurt.
can.
You still.
That's a whole
So
different-
true.
Yeah.
That's
Absolutely.
superficial.
And again, you're only hurting yourself.
Yeah.
You're only hurting yourself.
Yeah. And at the end of the day, you could act whatever you want. God knows you.
Yeah.
God knows if you really
That's
have
true.
forgiven or
Right.
not. Like, you can't act with him.
So have you forgiven people? Like fake forgiven people?
Yes.
I have.
Ooh.
Can you
That was
elaborate?
immediate. Immediate. Yeah. So
Can you elaborate?
let's talk about it. Can we talk about it?
Why is it us that we always get
No, I'm being real. Like, yes, it's like it's a habit. Like, it's so easy to be like, oh, like it's all
It's
good.
okay,
Like,
it's fine.
like
Then
you
you
hurt
But
me,
it's not
but
all good.
it's all cool. But then like I'm fuming inside. Like I'm heated. Like I'm like mad, bro.
Fuming.
I'm like trying to like keep it together.
And I'm literally like that's how it be. But then like sometimes you feel like you like should forgive them because like in my instance, like I'm Christian, and I feel like sometimes I should be like, I should forgive them because that's what like Christianity kind of is about. Like being kind of like taking who God was and like trying to adapt it to your life.
Yes.
Yeah.
So then sometimes I'm like, maybe if I speak it into reality, like if I just go like, I forgave them and then I will, but like sometimes it don't happen like that, and
It's not that easy.
it's not that easy.
Especially
so,
when
yeah.
it's somebody that like you have on a pedestal type of thing,
Oh,
like
yes.
that you look up to or you've looked up to,
Yes.
right?
They
That
would
I
never.
think hits
Nope.
on
That
another
hits
level.
different.
I'm careful who I put
Right.
up on that pedestal.
And and that's the thing. I
Jesus
think
has never failed me.
Jesus would never.
Yes.
He would never.
Right?
yes,
Right.
I feel
Justin
like
Bieber would, though.
oftentimes we get hurt because of that, because we put people in the place of God.
Yes.
You know, we
Yeah.
put people
Yeah,
in a
that
place
is
where
Sometimes expectations.
They
yeah.
fail to meet expectations
Ooh,
we
I
set for
hate
Not
them.
even
when
what
they
And
people.
they don't even know.
Sometimes
I
not
hate
even
that.
what people do, but what they don't do, and you get
Yep.
offended, and that's killing you.
Yeah.
And they don't even know because they
Yeah.
didn't even do it. Like they
Yep.
don't even know like
Yep.
That's
what's
so
going on.
Right.
Yeah.
Sometimes I look up to someone and they do something, and I'm like, have you been this person all along?
Yeah.
Was I just
So
like
it's like
the mask?
You have been canceled.
Culture. No,
Yeah.
but it's
It's
sometimes
crazy,
I
yeah.
think about that, and I'm like, I see all the people, like I have like a lot of respect for and reverence and stuff, and then they do something bad, and I'm like, is this like what I've become? I feel like that's a reflection of me.
Yeah, yeah.
So when they do something
True.
bad, I'm like,
Yep.
this is the person like I look up to,
Yeah.
And then even like you said, the stuff they don't do.
Yep.
And I'm just like, is this the type of person they've been like all along? Like, how am I supposed to like forgive you? And I feel like I'm in denial most of the time because I've like placed, I'm like, you're so perfect. Like, you are Jesus. And then, well, obviously not like that.
Right,
But
right.
then it's like they do something and I'm just like, I don't know how I feel about that because I have so much respect and so much reverence and so
Yeah.
much honor that I don't know how I can come to you
Yeah.
about this. And I
Yep.
feel like this happens a lot. This used to happen a lot to me. Like 3 years ago, like in middle school, like something would happen and I feel like I'm just like the tech person, like I'm not supposed to say anything, and it was super hard for me to go to my leaders about it because it's like I have respect for you.
Right.
And I feel like these are conversations that needed to be
Yeah.
had.
Yeah.
And then, I feel inferior. So it's like I don't know how to go about it. Like I don't know how to bring it up.
Yeah, and that I think that, and that's the thing. I feel like oftentimes, maybe because somebody's older than us, or they hold a certain level of like position or title,
time.
or they move a certain way. The expectations we
That's a good
expect we expect so much from them, where like I feel like a healthier thing is knowing, hey, I respect and honor this person, and I'm learning from this person. But if this person never messes up, I'm not gonna be surprised because they're just as human and just as imperfect as I am. You know, and I think the other side of this is not only just people that we look up to, but more specifically our parents. So many times, like you see, like you know that like disappointment and that like when your parent messes up or you know.
Yeah, definitely.
It affects you and can and a lot of times because of those expectations that pain can remain for a long time.
Yes.
You know, so
Generational.
I don't know if you
You have to be careful with that.
Yeah.
And I always say that a lot of people guard your heart, and even that like your parents, right? When you're a little kid, they tell you that they're always right. Right? Like they're always right. And then when you get older, you're like, I don't know about that. But sometimes they get impulsive, right? And they sometimes and parents have to be careful with that too, like disciplining their kids when they're mad, when their emotions are high, right? And because they hurt their children. But I think, and while talking to this, I think we have to always take from the good and don't let the bad in. Like learn good from the leaders. Like so me when in my walk through God, since I was 12, you know, like gracias a Dios, like I started preaching and all that. And every year I've had like a spiritual leader, like a spiritual leader, kind of a mentor. And it was crazy because when I was from 12 to like 18, it was like every year was a different person.
Yep.
It was a male, sometimes women. It was something different.
No, what the?
And we and I, you know, they would tell me, and they would tell me like they'll always be there for me and this and that. And over the years, they're not around. But I'm not gonna hold that against them. And the contrary, I honor them and I thank their God for their lives because even though they're not here at that moment, they gave me so much. They fed and spiritually my life that just because they're not here, I'm not gonna like hold nothing against them. Al contrario, like I honor them and thank God for their lives, and that's why like learn from them, take the good. And don't let the bad in.
I would go on to say take in the good and learn from their bad. Like if they make a mistake, don't make the same mistake they made.
That's not me. Honestly, sometimes I feel cheated. Like I'm like I looked up to this person so much, and I learned so much from them. And then you're gonna go ahead and do this. Like I feel cheated. Like why would you do this? You know, I feel like I have had a lot of spiritual leaders and people that I look up to from a very young age. And then I grow up and I realize that they do something. And I'm like, was this who you were all along? Was I letting you influence me? And I feel like that's when the grudges come in. And that's when I start feeling like, I don't know how I feel about you anymore. And like that whole forgiveness thing comes in. And I feel like that's when I learn. You know, that's something to learn from. Just don't let anybody in. Like Osman said, like take in the good. Like you did a lot of good stuff, but you did this and I'm kind of iffy, but I'm still grateful for everything that you've done.
Right. And to be honest, I think like kind of flipping the coin on this, like I feel like us as leaders and even like I don't it don't matter if you're in middle school or in high school, there's somebody looking up to you. There's somebody looking up to you.
Always.
And I think that we have to be very intentional about making it clear I am not perfect. And I'm going to make mistakes. I am not your God. So it's Jesus, okay? Jesus is the answer. I'm just a vessel. I'm just somebody that can be used by God. And I'm hoping, I'm trying my best to be used by God. But I'm going to fail you. Like, I'm going to fail you. And I think when we kind of like make that clear from the beginning, you're less likely to disappoint somebody and hurt somebody based on your mistakes.
That's dangerous.
If anything,
letting someone set their own expectations for you is so dangerous
because you don't know.
Because you don't know it.
And
that's why I think one of the first thing, I don't know if Pastor still does it, but when si alguien levanta la mano and they accept Jesus, or I think it's baptism, when they accept Jesus, he tells them before they go back to their seat, or now they don't go up. Now they just stay in their seat. But before, when they would go up and they would go back to the seat, he would tell them that consejo that they would, and tell them, keep your eye in God and not in man, because man are gonna fail. Like he always would say that, and that's so key. That's so key.
That's really good.
Something Jocelyn brought up. I don't remember when it was, but it like came to my mind when someone said it. It was like, I didn't sign up to be a role model. It was something that was placed on me, and I'm gonna embrace it. Like no matter what. I feel like wherever you are, even if like you're old, you're young, whatever, if you're serving in a place of God, you're gonna be a role model eventually. If you put yourself out there, somebody somewhere is looking up to you.
As a sibling, as an older sibling, or even a younger sibling, when you become a parent, now you're that figure of like.
I hate it so much when especially when you hear this from artists and celebrities or sports figures, like I'm not a role model, like this and that. No, you are. You
didn't choose to be. You are.
Athletes say that.
They're like, I don't understand how someone can look up to me. I'm like, bro.
Don't follow my example. It's inevitable, bro.
Where you are.
Right.
If you can say it on TV, maybe you are.
Like grow up and take responsibility.
Yes,
like,
every single person has a platform and has a level of influence, whether you like it or not.
You're an influence,
and you're responsible for that. You're responsible. We're responsible for each and everything that we do.
Yeah. I just heard leadership is influence. So you just said, everyone has it. Everyone has some level of influence. So what type of leader are you gonna be?
That's good.
That's good. I want y'all to take on this. It's Peter. And it's Jesus, so you know it's coming from the source. Peter comes up to him and he's like, "Lord." I know.
Who's Peter?
Peter.
Is he the one that walked on water?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, that was iconic.
And denied him.
And denied him.
It was an icon.
But he came up to Jesus.
He did.
Oh yeah, denied him 3 times.
He said, "I don't know who Jesus is."
Who's that man?
Bro, Peter's all over the place.
That is
My best friend.
New phone who this?
My best friend. Who that? So he said, "Lord, how often should I forgive someone who sins against me? 7 times?" Like question mark. And then Jesus is like, "No, not 7 times, but 70 times 7." And that's not an exact number. He's basically saying, like, however many times you think you can forgive someone, you need to forgive them even more than that. And of course, like we have been talking about, it's not that easy, but we should try our best to forgive. And that's like, because Peter was always like asking like God questions, like Jesus questions.
He's asking the
And he
dumbest
asked,
question.
because he was thinking, he was like, what if someone like messed me up? How do I forgive? Or how many times, like we were talking about the repeated offense. What are you guys laughing at? I don't even-
Ribbit, 'cause I was
Oh my God.
sorry, go ahead.
I didn't even notice. I was literally so into what you were saying. Like, yes,
Hi,
Peter,
ladies.
yes.
Welcome to the podcast.
But she just said ribbit, and I couldn't.
No, it's because I was literally thinking, yo, Peter was like a gangster.
He
Like,
really was.
Peter was that type of guy. He was outspoken. Like, he was outspoken. He was the type that said, yo, Jesus, I'm going to ride or die with you.
But then I'm gonna deny you.
Chop the guy's
Ear off and he
Ooh.
said,
Jesus.
Oh, I know.
Yeah, that was Peter.
Bro, Peter isn't me.
Whoa,
cut
it's like
someone's
comedians
ear?
that
No,
say
no,
less.
No.
Walk the
Hey,
water.
you relate a lot to
Jesus.
Peter, huh?
Yeah, he said,
You know
I'm
what
a
Peter
ride or
ended up
die,
being?
but I'm a drown.
Stop.
What?
Jesus ended up founding his church with Peter.
Pastora.
He
I
was-
relate to the
to the before.
Oh, you about to preach, is what you're saying.
I
said
you're
Peter.
Peter.
Go ahead.
I relate to
No,
that.
you Peter.
Let's
No,
talk
you're
about
Peter.
this.
The before Christ Peter.
Ministry right here.
Before Christ Peter.
Yes. Man, y'all crazy.
So he said that.
Yeah, he basically said like you gotta forgive, even if it's
How
the
would
same
you
thing.
press that, bro?
And
Why 7? That's such a random number.
It is.
I
That's
just
the
put it
Bible
out
number.
and
Really?
Yeah.
I think
Cool number.
the whole thing while there's forgiving, and this is probably applies to any topic in the Bible. Our example is Jesus.
Yes.
Period.
Always,
Yes.
always. And we take a look of his life. He had every right to feel offended. He had every right to hold a grudge on his people. Because he came to his people and his people rejected him.
Yep.
Yeah.
And we see even before he died, he didn't need to be, an angel form or whatever. And at the cross, he said his words, right? Father, forgive them because they don't know.
what they're
Yeah.
doing.
I think that's our example,
Yep.
right?
Yeah.
If
Yep.
he was
That is.
able to forgive the people that were killing him,
Not even
Unjustly.
like just them. Everybody.
Yeah.
Like,
Everybody.
everybody.
Us.
Like in the
Yeah.
world. Like
Yeah.
I just think that's crazy. That's like
That
different
is.
level.
Yeah.
That's where
That's
I'm
God
trying to be
level,
at, low key.
literally.
Like you do me dirty. It's okay. Don't even worry about it. It's okay.
And
It
for
don't
not to,
matter.
like-
It'll take a while to get the ref.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You could get there.
It's always
and like
I-
mean it, right? Mean
No,
it, not
no,
just
no.
act like
I don't
it.
think
True.
I'll ever be there. I
True.
think I'll
Mean
just
it.
always have to work on it.
Yeah.
Always have to
Constant
constantly
process.
remind myself, like, look at yourself first.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But I feel like you get better at it. Like it's like practice,
I
right?
hope
Yeah.
so.
Especially
Yeah.
when you're a leader.
I hope so.
Yeah.
It comes with being a leader. That part, the forgiving part.
Mhm.
That's what it comes with.
That's true.
And that's the thing. I think our level of what's the word?
Tolerance.
Maturity.
Tolerance. Our level of
Bro, I'm
tolerance.
on a roll.
How? How?
Our level
Somebody
of
explain
tolerance
this.
increases. You know what I'm saying? So now the
Thick
little
skinned.
petty things doesn't
Yeah.
affect us. Like we're able to forgive them. Then those
Comes
those
with
hurtful
experiences,
words, the
too.
lies. Yeah, right.
good.
So
Develop
as you
thick skin.
continue forgiving and learning to forgive, your tolerance
Tolerate more.
increases and you
Yeah.
get better and better.
Yeah.
And you're becoming, as you're doing that, you're becoming more like Jesus, right? You're able to
Yeah.
tolerate more.
How would you
That's
say? Where is
true.
your tolerance right now?
Oh, great
Not at
question.
Ozzy's
I
level.
pretty
Yeah,
high tolerance.
nada.
I pretty
Not
high
at
tolerance,
Ozzy's
I would
level.
say. I guess it depends. Like,
Man.
I feel like it always
Yeah.
will depend. Betrayal, man. Like Jillian was saying, I think that one will always be like, you know what? Don't talk to
That's
me
why
right
I
now.
don't have
I'll-
friends.
give me
They
2
disappoint me.
days.
Uh-oh.
Let me sleep on it twice, and then we could talk. What y'all doing?
You guys don't know that Vine life. Sorry.
What?
She referenced to a
Disappoint
vine.
me.
Yeah, we said I don't have friends. They disappoint me.
Anyways.
But I have family. Okay.
Never disappoint.
Nah, but honestly, I feel like Larry touched on a good point. Like, you learn like all the little petty things. You learn. You're like, it's not worth it. I went through all of that just for a simple I'm sorry. Like, I wasn't even that mad. It was just I
Right.
was just overwhelming myself with the fact that I wasn't saying
Yeah, yeah.
sorry. And I feel like we tend to do that a lot. But as you get older, you know, you learn. You get betrayed. You get hurt. You learn. You experience that fake love. You learn. Right? That was not a Drake reference, by the way. It is a BTS one.
It was most definitely a Drake
Nah,
reference.
I don't think
Who
so.
said it first?
Third.
Is the question.
Who did it better? Is the question.
Facts.
Period.
No.
We are
but-
not talking. We
Okay,
talk about this
so
after.
we So what I'm
We'll talk
trying
about
to
this
say,
after.
Yeah.
what I'm trying to say is, you learn like your tolerance increases. You know, when you see like a little middle schooler, they don't put the chair right. You're like, I know, it's okay. You see a little middle schooler, they're on their phone. You're like, it's okay. I was there once. You know, it's okay. And you learn as you get older, as you pass through the
The
stages
middle
of life.
schoolers
You
watching
know?
this are probably heated.
Yeah.
Sorry, I love you guys so
Like,
much.
I'ma
Stay on my
Target.
phone and what?
The parent
Just
thing
in front
too.
of Heidi.
They're gonna see.
No. Give me that right now. You move over there. Nah, I feel like when you're a parent too, like you start to
Ooh, that would trigger
understand.
me.
I feel like growing helps
that's
with your
true.
forgiveness.
Yep.
You know, even if I don't forgive right away, one day I know I'm gonna be in your shoes, and
Yep.
I know, and I'm gonna understand. So that's why I try not to like get ahead of myself. Like I
Yeah.
may like my mom may do something, and I may be mad at my mom, but in the back of my head, I'm like, I know why she's doing this. I may not understand it now,
Yeah.
but I know one day when I'm gonna be a mom, or if I'm gonna be a mom, because truly I don't want to. Like I'm gonna know,
Yeah.
you know, and that's when the big stages in life are what prepare you to be like Jesus.
You-
That's
you-
good.
Different
you-
perspectives.
Yeah. You mentioned something that I think
Here we go.
it's so
Here
key.
we go.
Let's talk about it.
I know. I thought he was gonna call me out. I was like, I'm ready.
She's like, let me
Sucking the
finish.
tears.
No,
Let me focus. I'm not gonna cry. I'm not gonna cry. Don't cry. Don't cry. Don't cry. She said, "Ooh."
Never mind. I lost my train of thought.
Wait, let me think back. Let me think
was the
back.
last thing-
Ooh,
what was
I
the last thing
I
you
mentioned
said?
something about parents. Like I don't understand it now, but I'm gonna understand
Okay.
it later.
Yes. There it is.
Boom. I'm on fire. That was such a fake
No,
laugh.
I was thinking like
So anyways.
Stop cutting it
No, Larry has a habit where he's like, hey, I'm gonna write this down so I don't forget, and then he forgets to write it down.
Yeah.
Or he forgets where he wrote it
Yo.
down. I'm like, when even? Like he
Because
starts
in my
a
mind, I
sentence.
have like I'm going everywhere.
It's like
Yeah.
this goes that way, this goes that way. His like file folders,
Stop
he's like going
before
through his
I
mind.
lose my
Okay,
train of
go,
thought.
go, go.
I lose the file.
Or he's like, remind me, and then we forget to remind me. I'm just messing with you, Larry. Go.
Forgive you.
Go ahead.
man.
Did I do something wrong? I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Whoa. Whoa.
Whoa.
No, so what I was gonna say is, I think that it hurts us how long how long it takes us to get there,
Yes.
to understand.
Yes.
You know what I'm
That's a
saying?
good
point.
It only hurts
For-
us.
yeah.
But
if you keep it in mind-
our growth, like you know what I'm saying? It's only taking. It's like God is saying, yo, you just get this over with. Like, just learn from this. Just apologize. Just forgive. You know. And He's not gonna force you. It's up to you. And you're gonna decide how long it's gonna take you to take that step to forgive. You know.
Yeah.
And you taking that step to forgive is going to help you go into that next level in your life, that next level of maturity, that next level of wisdom and love and understanding,
Tolerance.
right?
Yeah.
But you taking long, like it's with Israel, right? After they took them out of Egypt, right? But they still stayed in the desert for 40 years, right? And it was up
That
to
was
them.
so
And
bad.
it should have taken, what, like 40 days
Yeah.
to get to the promised land, but they stayed 40 years. Why?
Clowns.
They were
Why?
stuck. They were
I
stuck in
know.
their ways.
They were
stuck
being
in their
petty.
ways.
So what you're
Petty.
saying is they were being petty.
Yep.
And that's about
That's
to
what I'm
be
saying.
me.
Andy, take notes. Don't be petty.
Oh.
That
was kinda
What?
That's been
I forgive you. I forgive you.
the Egypt thing.
The
The
what?
whole Egypt. As I've been hearing a lot about it. And
Israel.
this is what I
Yeah.
have to say. A little bit of what I have to say is, so they were out of Egypt. They're out of Israel went out of Egypt. So they were slaves.
Wait, Israel are the people?
Yeah.
Israel. Oh, okay.
So
Oh, that's why he says
Even-
my people.
even though they were slaves, they would have what to eat, right? They went to the desert. They were free from slavery, but they didn't have that food. So they were so used to,
Oh.
stuck in their ways,
Yeah.
that the new was like, that's why they tell Moses, why'd you even take us out if it's going to be like this? But what they didn't, and they realized they had freedom. I think
Wow.
we're so used to the way our family thinks and their old ways that this new for us is like, I'd rather be
uncomfortable.
stuck. It's uncomfortable.
Yeah.
It's too new for us.
Yeah.
This freedom God gives is like
a good
new.
point.
There's danger in
know?
complacency.
You get used to
Yeah.
the old ways that you don't realize God has something better for you.
Man.
Yep.
If you
Settling for
accept
less.
freedom,
Yeah.
if you free yourself
Man,
from
that's so good.
That is
whatever
good.
it is.
Dang,
I feel like
Goslin.
that's connected to what Jocelyn said. Like, the whole thing of, like, finding that drama entertaining, finding that.
You never
like,
did elaborate.
know what I'm
Go
saying?
ahead. Go
Yeah.
ahead.
You know what I'm saying? Because I feel like you're comfortable in it. You like it. You like.
I want to see my parents.
Yeah,
fight.
you
I
like
wanna
the
see-
problems.
Whoa,
like,
I
you-
never
Whoa.
said that.
Then you should have explained.
Not like
Explain
that.
then.
Not like that. You're like,
She didn't explain,
catching up with this.
Jocelyn style.
Jocelyn loves
what
seeing
you-
Jenny
you
and
know what
Julian fight. Like,
I never
what
said
even?
that. I never
Oh
said
my
That's
god.
wild.
Well, look,
Ooh.
Everyone's gonna hate.
Larry's not a snitch. She's not
this
a narc.
conversation, I'm definitely not a snitch.
You know,
Chill. No,
confidential. I write notes and slip them under
I'd
the
love
door.
for us to continue this conversation.
I was a kid.
But
I
we-
just want to throw that
we-
out there.
Are you still a snitch?
We gotta stop.
Yeah.
I have limits. I have
We
limits.
gotta wrap it up. Thank you guys for joining us.
No, just kidding. Just kidding. Just kidding.